be doing, unless there is some like urgent and like new topic that I want to discuss with you all and inform you about, I will be doing these like topical live streams about different topics, and then I will be answering different questions about that topic. So I've already started with the partnership visa. As the previous video, I've answered the first question there, and today I will be starting the topic of Americans in the Czech Republic. So because the thing is, in the Czech Republic there was over 10,000 Americans living at the end of last year. So that's quite a big of a group of foreigners in the Czech Republic. So there are also a lot of questions about Americans in the Czech Republic, their rights, rules, all that. So this is the first topic of the series. So the question is, how long can a US citizen stay in the Czech Republic? And I will divide answer to this into two sections. One will be short-term stays, and then there will be long-term stays. And you can always ask me questions during the live stream if they are related to that topic. If they are not related to the topic, you can ask me after the live stream in the members only section, because I'm still doing the live Q&As, but I do them only for joiners, for paying members, and I still answer questions about the topic during the topical live stream. So if you have different questions than what I will be talking about now, you can join, or you can join and you can catch me for the next 20 minutes on a live stream in the members section. But let's jump right into the topic now. How long can a US citizen stay in the Czech Republic? Technically, forever. And you can also get a Czech citizenship at some point and not be an American citizen staying in the Czech Republic, but be a Czech citizen staying in the Czech Republic. It just depends on how easy or complicated it is. So as of now, obviously the easiest way of staying in the Czech Republic for some time is just to show in your passport when you're boarding your plane, because Americans can come to the Czech Republic, or generally to the whole Schengen area, including the Czech Republic, for up to 90 days with no visa required. So if you plan on staying here for maximum of 90 days, you just want to visit someone or travel around Europe, you can just like board a plane with your passport and like fly here and stay here for 90 days, and then you just have to leave before the 90 days are up. One important thing here is, or two important things. First, it's 90 days in the last 180. So if you spend here 90 days in a row, you don't need to leave for 90 days, because it's always a period of 180 days. And in that period of 180 days, you can only spend here 90. But if you, on the other hand, stay here only for 45 days and then you leave, then you can come back next week if you want to, and like you still have the remaining 45 days to stay and travel. It's 90 days in the last 180. One important thing about this is that the 90 days apply to the whole Schengen area. So with most countries, it doesn't work the way that you can spend 90 days in Germany, then you come to the Czech Republic for 90 days, then you go to Poland for 90 days, and you could stay here forever like this. It's 90 days for the whole period of time, or for the whole Schengen area. There are some agreements between Poland, for example, and the US that allow you to stay a bit longer, but if we talk specifically about the Czech Republic, 90 days for the whole Schengen area, including the Czech Republic. Second thing I wanted to mention is that this is as of now, because they say that from later this year, October 6th, I believe, or something like that, 2025, they should finally release the EES system, exit entry system, which will be an electronic system, which will be like once you scan your passport wherever, it will be in the system and everyone will know. So that will basically not allow anyone to overstay, because if you overstay, they will know, because everything will be tracked electronically. Now, if you overstay your 90 days, no one really knows unless they stop you and check your stamps and calculate everything like in their head or however. So as of now, it's kind of, I definitely am not recommending it, but if as an American citizen you overstay the 90 days, no one really cares. And if you're leaving, they just tell you don't do it next time, but you're good. But once the EES system will start, this will basically become impossible because there will be no excuse that whatever happened, blah, blah, blah. They will just see clearly that you didn't leave, and you will be punishable by law. That's just the first step though. There will be also the second step, which will be the ETIAS, which is basically an authorization before your travel. So that will mean an extra step. You will not need to get a visa, but you will need to get registered in the system, pay some small fee, like 17 euros or something like that, and you will get authorized or not authorized to enter the Schengen space or the EU, and this authorization might be valid for up to 3 years, I believe. So then it will work the same way as now, that you just scan your passport and you're good. But the first step will have to be the authorization. Plus, of course, if you get a new passport, for example, then you need to get a new authorization. So that will get more complicated, but still you will have the 90 days visa-free travel. You will just need to get this additional registration done. But if you want to stay longer than the 90 days, you already need to apply for some kind of long-term visa or long-term residence permit, because the 90 days, that's not a visa. Sometimes people say I have the 90 days visa, but it's not a visa, because visa physically is a sticker in your passport. So that's not like just you scan your passport, you get a stamp into your passport. That's not a visa. A visa is like a physical sticker put into your passport by a Czech embassy, Czech consulate, or some other institution that's allowed to do that. In some countries, it's VFS, for example, or whatever. So if you want to stay longer than the 90 days, you need to get some kind of visa, which is the sticker, or you need to have get a residence permit, long-term residence permit. Okay, so I'll say hi. Čau, Karolíno, díky moc za přidání. Moc v češtině tady mluvit nebudu, protože je to celý v angličtině, takže čau. Trex, hi from Czechoslovakia. Yeah, you live in the past. Just a bit, just 35 years. Eliška, hi Eliška, thank you for joining. Jem Juriček, noob. I know the word, but I don't remember what it means. Eli, hey, you are Czech, I am Czech. So these are not really questions, okay? So hi guys, thank you for joining, and let's continue with the topic. So if you want to stay longer than the 90 days, a long-term visa or long-term residence permit, which is like a separate piece of ID, something like your driver's license in the US with your photo and your fingerprints, all these kind of biometric things. And that allows you to stay here for 1 year. That's usually the visa, or maximum of 1 year. And then the residence permit can be from 1 year to 3 years, generally, depending on the purpose of your stay. But this is already a bit more complicated, and I've done another video specifically about this topic, and we also have a couple articles written about this on our website. I will share some links in the description of the video when I finish the live stream. So go there, check the links, read more about those, because that would be another like 20 minutes of live stream just explaining the basics. But generally, as a US citizen, you're in the best position to get a visa or residence permit approved. If we compare a US passport and, I don't know, Nigerian passport, South African passport, Vietnamese passport, whatever other like Asian countries' passport other than Japan and South Korea, and all African countries, then US passport is definitely the best to get a Czech visa or Czech residence permit. So it's the easiest for you from all the nationalities in the world other than EU citizens. On the other hand, it does not mean that it's easy. It's just easiest for you, but it still might be pretty complicated depending on what you actually want to do here. If you want to study here, and it makes sense, so you studied bachelor's in the US, now you want to study master's here, makes complete sense, most likely will get approved if you just stick to some rules. If you want to teach English in the Czech Republic as a freelance teacher, That's also pretty straightforward. You apply for a business visa as a freelance teacher, and that's relatively straightforward. A lot of Americans do that. Then if you want to move here for employment, that gets way more difficult, or not way more difficult, but more difficult, because you need to find employer willing to help you with the process and wait for you, because the visa processes in the Czech Republic are pretty slow. So you should expect anything between 4 to 6 months. So you need to find employer which is willing to wait for you 4 to 6 months from the date when they say they want you. And you will also need some documents from their side. So you need to find a good employer, supportive employer, and that might get complicated. If you have a family member, either you're the main applicant, you're the English teacher, you're the student, and you want to bring your spouse or kids or kids, that's relatively straightforward as well, because there is a family reunification visa your family members can apply for. So that's generally pretty straightforward. Ahoy, Monico. Song, please. Carolina, I will not be singing today. Anyway. And then other than that, there are not actually too many other options. You could marry a Czech citizen or an EU citizen living in Prague or in the Czech Republic and get a residence permit based on that, which is a pretty good residence permit. You can also just date a Czech citizen or an EU citizen. You don't need to be actually married, as long as you are in a long, serious relationship similar to a marriage. It's something called a partnership visa. I've done a lot of videos about this topic. We also have a great article, or a couple articles actually, on our website as well. So I'll share all the links in the description of the video. And that's mainly it. There is a cultural visa, digital nomad visa. Those are all possibilities, but those are very specific and they have very specific rules. We don't have really anything like a retirement visa or like financially independent type of visa that you could just live here because you have enough money, enough like passive income, or you have savings or whatever. We don't have anything like that. We don't really have any investment type of visa, something like in Spain or Portugal, where you just buy a property above like 200 euros or whatever. 200,000 euros, sorry. 200 euros would be great. And you get the residence permit based on that. We don't have anything like that in the Czech Republic. We have an investment visa, but it's meant for like people who want to employ like 60 Czech citizens and stuff like that. So probably not the investment type of visa normal folks are looking for. And that's kind of it. We don't have really too many other options than studies, employment, self-employment, digital nomad, potentially culture, maybe, and family reunification. So yeah, but if you want to know more about these different topics and different visa options, residence permit options, either read the articles which I will share in the description, or get in touch. We'll be happy to arrange a consultation with you, just go through the options, see what can be done in your case, and if you want so, we'll be happy to help you with that as well. That's kind of it. Děkuju, Moniko. Monica says my English is good, which is actually probably the first Czech person who came here and said that, because usually Czechs come here and write in Czech language, they write, "Your English sucks, man," and then they leave. Often they also have comments on my like looks, and then they leave. So Monica is actually the first person who that I remember who said my English was good. So thank you very much, Monica. And yeah, guys, I will now switch to the joiners area. So if you're not a joiner yet, if you're not paying monthly membership, then you will not be able to see the live stream, but I will be going there right now after I finish this live stream, and I will be answering questions live there. So if you have any questions about this topic and other topics as well, like living in the Czech Republic, moving to the Czech Republic, bringing someone to the Czech Republic, then I'll be happy to answer those questions there. Join me and see you again Thursday, Monday, until the end of the world.